From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Scott Wright. Scott, linebacker depth has suddenly become a question. We did not expect it to be that way as the Cowboys started the year, but then go into week 2 at South Alabama. We find out before the game, 2 guys home with injuries, questions of depth. Where do things stand right now as they prepare to go to Pitt?
Well, this is the first real adversity this team has faced. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. It was a strange week because they had Kenneth Edison-mcgruder go down with an injury on Wednesday. Kevin Henry possibly tears an ACL on Thursday, the day before the game, in a non-contact drill. And then during the game, Calvin Bundage gets a penalty for targeting, which includes a suspension. He'll be out half the game. So now they go into the Pitt game on Saturday with one starter plus his backup both out, and one backup that plays a lot out as well. So now you look at a really thin depth chart. You've got 2 of your starters still involved with Justin Phillips and Chad Whitener. Now you're looking at Kirk Tucker being the starter behind what would have been either McGruder or Bundage, and then you've got backups like Devin Harper was a new appearance on the depth chart this week.
Yeah.
You still got some guys like Josiah Kim, who is just a veteran who's been around. He's going to step in there and can fill in at multiple positions. So a lot of guys like that, and some other young guys who could fill in as well.
How high is the concern about the situation right now? You mentioned Bundage is gone for the first half at Pitt. He'll be back. Not an injury situation there. Potentially, Kenneth Edison-mcgruder comes back. But obviously, this is a road game against a Power 5 team. What's Glenn Spencer saying about just how concerned he is, or what's the sense you get about the concern about all of this?
It's still really kind of up in the air at this point. You've got guys who you don't know exactly when. I mean, they're being really kind of quiet about what Edison-mcgruder's injury is, how long he might be out. They're calling him day-to-day, but you don't know if that's day-to-day for the next 4 weeks or day-to-day and we'll see how he's feeling on Friday type of thing. So there are a lot of different directions this could go. Pitt is a really physical team. Talent-wise, they shouldn't be able to match up with Oklahoma State. I think it's around an 11-point spread at this point in Vegas. So talent-wise, they shouldn't be able to match up man for man. But when you're talking about the physicality and you're taking some of those key linebacker pieces out of the puzzle, it gets a little bit scary. This Pitt team has some good running backs, some guys that can do some damage, and that linebacker core is the main area for speed on this defense, and those guys make a lot of tackles.
Lastly, does this, you look at these non-conference games, clearly this Pitt game is a game where you would expect everybody to be out there for whatever maximum snaps they need to be. But, South Alabama, you might have seen some guys play more snaps than they would have otherwise, guys like Chad Whitener. And Big 12 play is about to start, and we know the volume of plays that offenses run against you if you're a defense. Is there any way to make sure these guys who are starting don't get overtaxed as it relates to the whole season, or do they just have to play this out and hope that some of these injury situations figure themselves out?
Yeah, well, you hope that maybe your offense can help you out a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe score a lot, but maybe not too fast.
Yeah, right.
Slow it down a little bit. Just have a few 3-minute drives instead of all those 2-minute drives. That type of thing, and let that defense get some rest, keep their legs under them. Go ahead and get ahead. Let you get your starters out of the game early, and get some of these young guys, particularly maybe a guy like Devin Harper who hasn't seen any real action at this level yet. Get him in there and let him see what he can do in that environment on the road, and get him ready for a time down the line when you're going to need him.
I assume that defensive line will be important too.
Absolutely. Their
added importance to that front will be key on Saturday as the Cowboys head to Pitt. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.